Hello everyone, Tozama here from the Keys Telecoms. We just thought let us, start doing videos that will help our customers, and not just only our customers, but anyone and everyone that has access to the internet, of course. Just going into YouTube and obviously have a look at all these nice tech tricks that you can have a look at, and without paying a technician and without even calling wasting airtime and calling your provider, or if you do call your provider, at least you'd call them knowing what is happening. Okay, so we're going to do a speed test troubleshooting now, or small things that you need to look for if and when you are experiencing high latency or speed issues and things like that. Okay, so the first thing that I would urge that you do is to first see if you are getting the speed that you are paying for, right? So you need to understand that. Ask your provider if you don't know. So let's say, for instance, you are on fiber. You are paying for a speed for a package. There's a package that you are on, or you are on fixed LTE, or you are on LTE, which is your SIM cards, whatever it is. So you are paying for a package. You need to understand what that package is. So assuming you're on a 10 megabits per second download and maybe 10 megabits per second upload, or 50 by 50, that's how we call them, or maybe 100 by 50, or whatever the case is. You need to understand that. So first thing, you're going to go open a browser. But before you do this, you need to isolate the devices, right? So make sure you are connecting only one device on your network. Make sure all the other ones, for testing purposes, are not connected on your network. So have everyone else disconnect. Must literally disconnect on the network while you're doing this test, because this will test the bandwidth that is coming from your provider. Are you getting what you are paying for, right? So once you hit in speedtest.mybroadband.co.za, you're going to land on this page. You're going to click in start test. It's going to give you three things here, three readings. It's going to give you your ping, it's going to give you your download, and it's going to give you your upload, right? So it's very important for slow speeds or for latency. It's very important to look at this. Like, ping is basically the amount of time, the DNS resolves the page that you're going for. So say for instance, we go here on speedtest.mybroadband. There's the amount of time it would take to go and bring this from the server where this is hosted and bring it onto my screen. Right, so you see this a lot with gamers that are playing online, to typically connect abroad, maybe on a server that's hosted abroad, maybe in Europe or wherever. Right, so you see here, it will probably be in the 200 milliseconds, or 300 milliseconds, or 400 milliseconds, and they call in saying, hey, what is going on here? This is just telling you that the server the server you are trying to reach. So that's where the problem is. It might be on the server, or it might be a routing issue on the internet service provider that you are paying. So there's a couple of things there, but I don't want to confuse you any further. So you would see here, download speed is about 35.24 megabits per second, and upload is 8.13 megabits per second. We recommend that you do this 3 times, right? So it will give you an accurate reading of what is going on with your line. So should you get the proper speeds here, because remember, now only one device is connected, or only one device should be connected while you're doing this. So should you get the speed that you are paying for here, right? So it means, okay, the bandwidth is okay, it's fine. Couple of things already then that might be playing a role. It could be your router's firmware is out of date. It could be the router's the wireless settings are not optimal as well. So those are the things I will show you now that shortly. So this is second test. You see already this is not the same as the first test already. Last test, I see the only thing that has been constant here is the ping, and I am connected on the Telkom LTE. This is just my failover or my backup MiFi router. It's a SIM card. So also understand that there's also latency there as well. on the SIM cards and things like that. So it's very important to understand those type of things. Okay, so we are done with the third one. So already these are good speeds. There's nothing to complain about here. On LTE, depending on the users as well. How many users do you are connecting? But we'll get onto that in a bit. So once we do that, right, so we'd have to log in then onto your router, right? So in my case, I'm not using a live environment. I'm on a simulator. I'm using a Tender F9. But what you would need to do is to know your router's login, admin login, right? So that would be, most likely 192.168, like things like that. So you go into the next tab, type in 192.168.0.1 or .1.1. Okay, unless your ISP is managing your router, then it will be something different. It will maybe be on a 0 range or on a 2 range or on a 1 range. So probably 2.0, 2. Maybe 1.0 or 0.200, whatever the case is, whatever they put the router on. So if that's the case, you would have to contact them and find out what that router login is. Another way would be to on the search bar there on your computer, you're just going to type in CMD, right? So it's going to show you this black screen here, command prompt. You click on that. Okay, see, there's it there, and then there here you're just going to type in IP config, short for IP configuration, IP config, and then hit enter. Right, so if you are connected on wireless, so if your computer or the machine you are testing with is connected on wireless, so assuming that would be 5G, because if you remember, I said we need to isolate, and the device you are connecting to must be hardwired via a direct cable from the laptop to the PC, or if it's connecting wirelessly, it must be on 5G. I will explain that on a separate video as to what is the difference between 2.4 and 5G. Right. So what we are looking for here in my case, it shows that I'm on Ethernet. Basically, I've connected the MiFi directly via cable onto my laptop, but it's picking up now is that is under Ethernet, right? So what I'm looking for here is default gateway. So in the case where the one that is underneath the router under admin default login, if that doesn't work, just go here and then copy that, chuck it in there. So you can see now if I put that in there already, I'm on my router now already. See, I'm on my Wi-Fi, and then I'd have to put in the password and log in. But I'm not going to do that for this case. So, and then say you are logged in. First thing you need to look at, how many devices do you have connected? All right. So that would be number one. This would be very important in case you are maxing the line. So maxing the line meaning you have already reached the bandwidth that you are paying for. Assuming you are paying for, let's say for instance, 35 megabits per second, you've got devices here, you've got 20 devices, you've got people playing online games, the servers that are connecting in Russia, causing your high latency here. Maybe you're getting 200 or 400 and something latency here, and you've got so many devices. So what you would do is to click on online devices. It's going to show you how many devices are connected. So this is very important as well. But remember now, you would only do this once you are back online fully, not while we are on the testing phase in terms of testing your speeds, because only one device should be connected now because you're doing a speed test. All right. So at the time where you are experiencing the slow speeds, have a look at this, is very important. And then what I would ask you to do straight away off the bat, go into your wireless settings. Right, so wireless strength should be on high, but it is on high by default anyway. But just confirm on Tender, it might be something, it might be somewhere else on another router. And then under wireless parameters, this is very important. You'd get two wireless bands, most likely on these latest routers. You'd get a 2.4 gigahertz, which is this one, a standard one, and you'd get a 5 gigahertz. The network mode must be on 11 BGN on a 2.4 gigahertz, not on B or G or and must be on all of this. And then the wireless channel must be on, or rather it must be specified. It must not be on auto. And I've seen a lot or rather in a lot of cases where these two here, these two are placed on auto like this. It is a problem. Reason being is that if we don't specify it, we've got about 13 channels on a 2.4 wireless spectrum, right? So if we leave it on auto, this router will hop 13 times the moment it picks up some small amount of traffic here, even if it's a traffic that won't affect the packets that are being sent to and fro. It will hop, and all the time that it hops, it will drop some devices. So you'd have a person saying my line is intermittent, right? Whereas it's not. But I'll get to intermittency on another video. So this must be specified. You can either use one, so it is in odd numbers, right? So 1 3, so it's 1 3, and then it is 6 9, and then 11. All right, so I always like to put it on 11 channel, wireless channel, and then the channel width on a 2.4 gigahertz, it must be on 20. Reason we put it on 20, this is very helpful for wall penetration, right? So 2.4 gigahertz, like again, I will explain the difference between the two on a separate video, but you can just put that in there. And then I will explain for as well, if you are connected on 5G, this must be on 11BGN AC. There will be another one there. I must just put it there. And then the wireless band here, this must be either on 40 or on 80 on a 5G gigahertz. And then same thing with the channels. The channels, you usually just put it on, you can put it on 149, but I will do another video on that, just not to confuse you any further. And then you just click OK there, done. And then once this is done, you then just test your devices again, because it could be here that the channel that you're connecting to might be congested, which is why you're getting slow speeds, or because of the auto, it's not, the router is not negotiating the best channel for you at that specific time, depending on the area that we are in, and things like that. Okay, so these are very important to look at. Also, the firmware of that router would also be very important to check that. So you might maybe ask your provider with regards to the firmware, because that some firmwares can actually break the device, so you want to make sure with that one. So once or if you can do it yourself, you can just download, depending on what your router is, go onto that router's or onto the brand, go there and then put in your router's model, download it, and then you can upload it manually and then click OK. All right, thank you so much, and please be on the lookout for other videos. Please do not forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that we are able to notify you when we've added more videos. Okay, thanks so much, and please do enjoy. Thank you. Bye bye.